When you're renovating, things don't always go as planned. You start a task, tools break down, priorities change, or the weather throws a wrench in your plans. More often than not, the time frame you had in mind stretches out and you quickly realize everything is going to take longer than expected. When you're doing most of it yourselves with only 2 hands, or 4 if you count mine when they're not editing, just 24 hours in a day, or less if you count sleeping, it's just part of the reality. Early on, as we tackled all kinds of jobs around the property and the buildings, we often felt frustrated we couldn't always show you a project from start to finish. Like many of you, we find it satisfying to follow something all the way through, not just to share the end result, but also to enjoy it ourselves. But the truth is, that's not always how it goes. Some projects are more straightforward, like clearing around the house or securing the chicken coop. They take time and effort, but once done, the result is immediate. Others, like digging behind the barn or rebuilding the driveway, are much bigger undertakings. Add unpredictable weather to the mix and progress slows down. Sometimes, like with the barn excavation, we've had to hit pause and wait for better conditions. Plus a working dumper, which Philippe is currently fixing. More on that very soon. Still, there are plenty of projects we were able to finish. Insulating the floor through the basement, treating the beams in the new barn, removing the platform and the beams to open up the space in the old barn, or clearing brambles to reach the old tractor we found. Those start-to-finish jobs gave us the courage to keep on going on the long-term ones. And speaking of finished projects, last week I planted 5 fruit trees, 3 apple varieties, a mulberry and a white cherry tree. I added poles to secure the fencing to protect them from deer and rabbits, cleared about 20 centimeters of grass around each tree, and added mulch. And I'm really happy to say that they're looking really good. Fresh leaves are already starting to appear. And this week, we're tackling one of those satisfying projects, something we can start and finish in one go, and that will make a real difference in our day-to-day life.
Today is an exciting day. Today we're gonna be doubling our solar energy and our battery capacity. We are gonna be doing this together with the help of Anker. We're going to be installing rigid solar panels from Anker, 8 of them. Each of these solar panels produces around 445 watts of power. Oh, full black. Oh. Dat is echt, let's turn it around. I didn't expect them to be like, these are full black panels. They're yeah, amazing. I didn't expect this.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, let's move them to where they belong. The panels got me excited, so I'm gonna have a little sneak peek in one of the boxes containing the AnkerSOLIX Powerbank 3 Pro. Right, it's a heavy beast. Okay, let's have a look. It's the first look for me as well. So I don't know all the specs yet. Later in the video I'll tell you all the specs correctly. The AnkerSOLIX Solarbank 3 Pro. You can connect 4 strings to it. 3.6 kilowatts of solar panel can go in. Contains a battery 2.6 kilowatts. And it can output 1200 watts when the grid is on. And even more important, when the grid is off, it can still give you 1200 watts of emergency power. It is plug and play, as you will see later in the video. And what else have they sent us? They've sent us another 2.6 kilowatts of battery life. So this brings us to 5.2, which is amazing. And you can still add 5 more batteries if you want to the system. But first off, I'm gonna continue installing the solar panels. And after that, I'm gonna install these two next to it. First step before I can install them is I'm gonna mow this part as short as I can because I don't have mulch, so I'll be just placing them in the grass and hopefully it doesn't push too much. Alright, the support for the solar panels, well packaged. As you can see, everything included for installation, nuts and bolts, and even bolts if you want to attach them to concrete pads or anything else. Oh, I love spring. Everything is starting to blossom and I hope you guys can hear it, but the birds. This, exactly what you hear now and what you see, is the difference between where we used to live in Belgium and here. There's a lot more wildlife, birds around, and that's about the only thing I hear here. So doesn't mean we don't have the farmers running around with their tractor and doing their stuff, but it's not all the time, or people cutting trees down, making firewood. I make noise as well, so, but a lot of the times, well, you have more of this silence with just birds and animals and whatever than sounds of man, I'm gonna call it. Not that I'm some kind of purist, but this is pleasant. It's not my first time installing solar panels. I've installed quite a few for clients in Belgium, so I have some idea of what I'm opening up and the quality that I'm looking at. One could say this is even too nice to install in my fields, but it is what it is. I was wondering why it was packaged like this, because most of the time when you buy supports for solar panels they're not packaged at all. But now I know why. It's the high quality finish. There's no other word for it. So if you have your solar panels inside, and well, inside I mean in your view all the time, then I can advise this. If you want it to be finished, clean, get black solar panels with black supports. Put these supports together, which should be very easy. Up like this. 2 bolts. Done. And it's just a matter of attaching it to the solar panel. Up until now, I didn't need any tools. Everything was supplied. That is the point of plug and play, is being able to do it yourself without the need for many tools, because not everyone is equipped. Voila! Real time, and I know 2 minutes to put it together, so that's easy. So again, basic principle, bolt and nut. Just align it with the front or the back of your panel. Once it's connected, you see how sturdy it is. This won't move. Abba! Okay, as you can see, all the panels are individual, so it doesn't matter if you put them in your backyard and your backyard is like slanted or not all the way straight. This is easy because they're all individual. The solar panels behind me is a system, the support system is all connected, which is fine as well, but it is more work because you have to level out every support that touches the ground. This sets up a lot quicker than the other one. Ja, let op. Oh. Pak het krabben. Ja. Voilà. Perfect. Dat is goed, hè? Alright, this is it. I'm gonna explain you a little bit the difference between the different kinds of plug and play balcony solar systems. The first one is just regular solar panels who go poof in your socket. You plug it in and be done. So you're using your power during the day. If you're not home, your energy goes to the grid and it's gone. So the solution to this is to get a battery system. So during the day you can use your power obviously, and you can store it as well, so you can use your power at night when the electricity will be more expensive. So that is the idea, that you will be using your own electricity, which will be cheaper at night. So we will be installing the second one, solar panels and the battery. You can attach these onto wood or onto concrete surface, or you can add blocks like I'm doing. It all depends on your setup. So you have this garden setup, you have a balcony setup, a pitched roof setup. You have to look on their website, but for every situation they normally have a setup you can order. The panels stay the same, but it's the supports that change. So one tip, do not cheap out on the amount of ballast you use, because I've seen a lot of solar panels fly. These ones next to me have been here a long time now. They haven't moved a single inch, but I've seen when you see a storm, you see these panels go flying, and that's most of the time they have been incorrectly installed or not enough ballast. We took delivery of the 4 remaining panels, so that will bring us to a total of 8 panels, which is 3.6 kilowatt, which is the maximum you will be able to do on the SolarBank 3 Pro. So it will be 2 panels in parallel connected to the SolarBank. So we will have 4 sets going to the MPPTs, which are 4 of them inside, and which does not make any sense for Anisha. Right, next up I need power over here because this device can send 1200 watts towards your home. So the only thing I need is a socket over here. If you are placing this on your balcony, near your garage or anywhere where there is a socket, it is really plug and play. So you just set up the device, put your solar panels on it, and then you plug it into a socket and it will transfer 1200 watts maximum towards your house. Reason why I'm doing it like this, same why the solar panels here are on the ground, is because the driveway is not finished yet. So in the future these will be used as a roof there to put my machinery underneath, and then I'll have a socket there as well. So then this battery, the AnkerSOLIX Solarbank 3, will be underneath, it will be covered as well. But it's IP65 rated, so you can place it outside like I'm gonna do now. Even in winter time the battery is gonna get heated, so it has a sensor inside, so when it gets too cold it will heat the battery packs so the battery can keep functioning. So that's very smart, very easy. So like I said, you just place it outside, that's what it's built for. But when I'm finished I will place it inside because it's always a little bit better to place it covered. Okay, done. Okay, I stripped the cable together with the other ones. It is getting heavy though, so once the driveway is finished all this needs to go underground. For now it will have to last a few more months, hopefully, maximum. And lock it. Yep. I will need more than just one because I'm thinking about putting the robots here, like I said. So the mowing robots can start here and then go around the yard. Anker also provided us with an expansion battery. So we will bring this system up to a total of 5 kilowatts, if I am not mistaken. And again, plug and play. You undo 2 screws at the back. And expansion battery, you go here. That's it. That is it. Next up is this AnkerSOLIX smart meter. We're going to be installing it here. This is where all my electricity arrives. So we have the electricity from the meter, from the grid, going in here into this panel, going to our other system, coming back, and then going back to the house. So we'll put this one here so we can monitor the usage, power usage of our house, and the Solarbank 3 will be able to make adjustments according to this. So it's very important. This is the only step that might be a little bit less plug and play, but you can always get an electrician to do it for you. It is not difficult, but I can understand if you need an electrician. So I'll be using one of these to connect the Solarbank 3 Pro to my system. Next up is the socket that I placed outside, the cable. Need to connect it to here, and then we're finished. Then we can connect the AnkerSOLIX Solarbank to our system and measure everything with this smart meter. Voilà. Done. Lukt het? Ja.
Ja.
Vindt het leuk?
Wat denkt u?
Ja. Dat is goed.
Aduh mama, aduh bakela.
Dus die zijn dan
Ja.
dat die tent. Okay, the system is finally fully installed. 8 panels, 3.6 kilowatts of power going in there, and then 1200 watts going to our house. It's working fine. It is working on self-consumption mode. But we had a thought about how do we explain this, because we integrated this into our system. So Anisha, my lovely wife, made a little diagram. So it will be easier to explain it than just with words. Okay, this is our lovely little diagram. The reason I wanted to show you guys this is it's not because you have an existing solar system or a setup that you can't include the AnkerSOLIX Solarbank 3 Pro. So a lot of people think you have to put this solely or you have to adjust your other system. No, these two can exist next to each other. So it's just about a little bit thinking it out, and it stays plug and play, and it actually supports our other systems. So for us, perfect. So how does this work, solar energy? Our house, we have the grid that comes in to a fuse box where I installed the smart meter, and then our existing setup was from the fuse box to a 4 kilowatt inverter. So this can supply us with 4 kilowatts of power even if the grid is gone. This is charged by a solar inverter, and we have 10 kilowatts of batteries. That's the old system. And then it goes to our house. So this system can supply our house with power even if there is no more grid, and even if there is no more solar power, because we have a battery. Then what we decided to do is to add the AnkerSOLIX Solarbank 3 Pro, which is actually a little bit like this system, but all in one. It is one device, so you don't have several devices that you have to wire together. The only thing you have to wire on this one is plug in your solar panels, and you plug in the power to your socket, and it will work. So what is the maximum specs of the Anker? 3.6 kilowatts of solar power. That's the maximum you can put into the device. Then ours now has a 5 kilowatt battery together with the expansion battery, and you can expand it up to 5 batteries and up to 4 systems parallel. So whatever you want. Then it can supply your house with 1200 watts of power through the socket. That's the maximum allowed. So there are laws in place. So that's what it can give you from the battery at night or during the day, because we have 3.6 kilowatts of power. Even now it is charging the battery, and at the same time it is supplying our house with power. Goes back to the fuse box, and when the battery is full and your house is not taking a lot of power, it can take the power back to the grid. It can sell back to the grid. You have 4 modes on the Anker. You have the AI mode, where it will learn your household, so the power you use in the morning, at evening, so it will make an estimate, and based on that it will start adjusting itself, how much power it puts out during the day directly to your house or to your battery. And that's something not a lot of people know, and that's something new. The grid. We are all used to having a fixed tariff. So your power costs 30 cents a kilowatt. That has changed. It has changed now, I don't know, a couple of years. You can have a dynamic tariff. So that means you can buy your power cheaper during the day. Like for example, today there's a lot of solar power, there's a lot of people putting back to the grid, the power is cheaper. So what can the Anker do? It can charge from the grid, charge your batteries if there's not enough solar, but the power is cheaper. It will charge them up, and then at night you can either use the power yourself or you can sell it more expensive back to the grid. So this one has a lot of modes which we haven't been able to test out all of them because we are still on a fixed tariff. So the mode I'm using is a self-consumption. Combined with the AnkerSOLIX smart meter, that one measures here between the house and our other system. So it will instantaneously, almost, if our house is using 800 watts, this battery system from Anker will put back 800 watts to our house. So we're effectively living off our battery. As long as it doesn't go beyond 1200 watts. Everything that goes above 1200 watts, the grid or your own existing system will supplement that. So what else do we have is 3 smart plugs. These measure the current of your devices. So you put them in between high consuming devices like your electric heater for hot water or an electric heater to heat your room. So this one, in combination with the smart meter, in combination with their AI system, will be able to put them on when it's the most beneficial for you to have a cost saving. We haven't been able to test this. Why? Because we need to adapt our house a little bit to it. And also we have a fixed tariff. We don't have a dynamic tariff yet. So in our system we are still using the self-consumption mode, which is the most basic but works perfect. It looks how much you're using, pumps the energy to there, the rest of the energy from the solar goes to your battery, and at night it uses the battery. Once this one, the AnkerSOLIX, is empty, my other system takes over. So that's what I mean. If you draw it out a little bit and if you think about it, you can place the system, because it is plug and play, you can put it next to an existing system. So maybe you have even bought a house with an existing solar system on it and you're like, I want some batteries. But then a lot of the times if someone comes to look at your house and your existing system, they will take away your existing inverter and replace that one. But maybe if you want to do it yourself, you can leave your system as it is, as a whole. It is functioning, it has been paid for, you leave it alone and you place a plug and play system next to it, which includes a battery. So it's all about thinking a little bit about your system and not always replacing what is there, because most of the time what is there is working, you've paid for it, and starting to replace it even after 5 years actually costs you more and takes away your savings, which you are trying to do with solar energy. I forgot a very important one. In case the grid goes out, this one will supply you with 1200 watts emergency power. So that's also an important one with everything going on in the world. Some people are worried and they're like, oh, I want to have power if the power goes out. This one will give you 1200 watts, which is more than plenty to run your most critical devices on, like your fridges, your freezers, stuff like that. So a very important feature, because a lot of the systems that are being sold with batteries, actually if the grid goes out, the system goes out. This one doesn't. Okay, I hope our little diagram made it a little bit clearer for everyone how this works. I will do an update video because there's some certain things I wasn't able to test out fully, like the smart plugs, and which I want to use and test out fully, so I will make an update video on how that works. And yeah, I want to thank Anker for giving us the opportunity to expand, almost double it, our capacity in solar energy and in battery. So this helps us a lot. Like on days like this, we haven't had to put on the grid. I even physically disconnect the grid, so we're just living on batteries and solar energy coming in. So it is amazing. It is still expandable. If I need it, I can add another couple of batteries, but we'll see how it performs in the next couple of months, and then I will be able to also supply you with more data.
The first few days with our new chickens were calm. They stayed close to the coop where they felt safe, until a few nights in, when we went to close the door and only counted 6 instead of 7. So we grabbed our flashlights and started walking around. After maybe half an hour of searching, I suddenly spotted her out of the corner of my eye, tucked between the rocks, clearly hoping that was a safe enough spot for the night. Philippe and I managed to gently get her out and put her back with her sisters in the coop. The next evening, the same thing happened, but this time we couldn't find her. We looked way past dark and thought it was really strange we hadn't heard any panic sounds, and the rest of the flock seemed totally calm. With a heavy heart, we ended the search and hoped she had found a safe spot and that we'd see her again in the morning. But the next day came and no sign of her. We kept scanning the yard, hoping to spot her scratching near the other hens, or at least find some feathers that would give us a clue as to what happened. And then, to make matters worse, we realized one of our older chickens had also gone missing. The anxiety was real. Luckily, Philippe found her nesting quietly between the branches of a hazelnut bush. As for the other one, Philippe said he kept hearing soft clucking that didn't sound like the others. So he climbed up the ladder to the attic above the coop, and there she was, our little brown hen, calmly perched on a wooden beam under the roof. Funny enough, I had climbed the same ladder the night before, but I hadn't thought to look up into the rafters. We got her down and back with the rest of the flock, and apart from a bit of pecking order behavior, things have settled down. They all seem to be adjusting now to the coop, to each other, and to this new chapter together.